Is this the best Levo Gen 3 money can buy in 2022? This is my mate's Haman's new beast, so let's check it out. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today we're looking at this LEVO EVO. It's my mate's Haman's new beast with loads of upgrades. We're going to talk to Haman about the new bike, how much it cost him in total, because there's loads of upgrades, and also why he sold his Gen 2 and his LEVO SL to buy this, and if he's happy. But first, let's thank the sponsors, and who's loving the new jersey. Actually signed up for the EWS race in Italy. Who's coming? And you know it, rider, Schwarby making the best e-bike tires in the business. Quadlock, the new sponsor at Sam's Bike, making smartphone holders and cradles for your mountain bikes, for your e-bikes, for your car, your motorbike, your house, everything in between. And Insta360, this is the new action camera. This is the One RS. This is 320 euros. This is a 4K action camera shooting 24, 30 and 60. Image stabilization is amazing. I'll be using this camera, the One RS, for all my POV footage in the future. So riders, let me know what you think. Also, link in the show notes where to get this camera and all the Insta360 products. So now let's look at Haman's new LEVO EVO. And riders, if you haven't seen, I did my long-term review a couple of months ago of the Gen 3. And I actually recommended this as the best value bike because it comes with really good suspension and obviously the same frame, same geometry as the S-Works. So what we have here is a LEVO Gen 3 Expert Carbon. And what's stock on this bike right now is the frame, the suspension, so we've got 38s, we've got an X2, the cranks are still stock, the running gear is still stock, and the dropper. But everything else has been upgraded. The bike has been totally wrapped by Ride Wrap, which I think took Haman about 5 hours, but definitely worth it, riders, because you really want to keep the value of these frames by not getting them scratched. So let's look at the upgrades. He's changed out the wheels and tires. He's gone Hope hubs with DT Swift Freeride rims, and of course, Schwarby Magic Mary at the front in 2.4, and a Big Betty in the back in 2.4. And I believe the gravity casing front and back. And he's taken off the codes, which I'm happy about because you know I don't love codes. And he's gone for an interesting setup, which is a Shigura setup. So it's got MT7 calipers and Saint levers, which I haven't done personally. So we're gonna find out what he thinks of that. So now we're gonna welcome Haman and find out what he thinks of the beast. And Haman, welcome to Sam's Bikes. Haman actually has been on the channel quite a few times. Absolute legend. He helps me do a lot of videos. So thanks for that. And mate, congrats on the bike.
Thank you very much.
It's beautiful. So first question, why the LEVO Gen 3?
Well, actually, as you said before, I come from the Gen 2 and the SL. I like the specialist concept.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to try that all the opinions says, and yeah, I think all the expectations have been reached.
So you would have had your final 3 bikes you were looking at. What were the other bikes you were looking at?
Well, actually, there are so many bikes on the market, so it was a difficult point to solve. But I was searching brands like Giant or Commensal and YT, but I finally decided to continue with the brand I know.
So I know this, riders, but you don't. Haman bought this bike second hand, but it's pretty much brand new. For me, that's a little bit of a no-no, but tell me why you bought it and why you were happy to buy it second hand.
Well, I discovered this bike, it only got 100 kilometers. I paid 8 grand, so it means
8,000 euros, yeah.
8,000 euros,
yeah.
So I paid 2,000 euros less.
Yeah,
so I was confident because the warranty is not a problem because the second owner of the bike will have the same benefit of the first owner. So
yeah, it's something that I didn't know, and I'm not sure all the brands do it. But Specialized it's a little bit like Apple. They follow the product, not the owner. So if you buy a second-hand Levo and it's still in warranty, you have absolutely no problem. And some people out there might think it's a little bit crazy to spend 8,000 euros on a bike and then change almost everything on it. Tell me why you did that.
Well, I think I'm an experienced rider, so I would like to have my own custom bike. So I feel comfortable with my own parts. So that's why I decided to remove all the factory parts and install my own parts in order to feel more comfortable. So the intention is, once I sell the bikes, I used to sell my bikes after 1 year or 18 months. So I put all the parts, the original parts in, I remove the wrap, and I will not so much money.
This definitely takes me back to the BMX days. We would always buy like complete bikes, change the parts and then sell them later. And I know that you did this with the Gen 2. So how much did you lose? And you got to ride the bike for 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. I used the bike during more than a year and I didn't lose so much money. Maybe almost same price. I sold by the same price, more or less.
I mean, if you look after the bike and you wrap it, they don't lose that much value, I think.
Exactly. Actually, cosmetic is a very important thing for the second-hand buyer. And yes, if you remove all the wrapping, you have a new bike.
And how long did the ride wrap take you to put on?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it took me 4 hours, something like that. But I think it's worth it because actually the bike is protected, so the frame will be as new when you remove it.
Definitely. He's going to do mine next. Okay, before we get into the parts that you've changed and why you changed them and if you're happy, tell me, if you were, talking to Specialized directly, how would you like them to spec these bikes?
Well, I think the wheels, because I'm a heavy rider, so I need strong wheels. So I will put more stronger wheels with 32 spokes. Also brakes. The codes are not my favorite brakes, so I decided to go for my own personal brakes. So I think the configuration I have is the one I want to have.
Okay, so now let's talk about the build. So you obviously haven't changed the suspension, but tell me, why the wheels and tires?
Well, I think those wheels, it's the second time I have these wheels. In the past, I think they perform very well. They are really strong, very easy to maintain. I think this configuration, when I discovered, I think it was 2 years ago, and I realized that this is the best I can have for that money.
I'm going to take a recommendation for that. I did recommend these wheels to you. Actually, I recommend these wheels to anyone. What they cost you, like 500 euros?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and the tires, why the tires?
Honestly, Suavi is a discover for me. It's a good, for me it's the best. I ride a lot of years Maxis, but honestly, Suavi, for me now, it gives you an extra confidence point. When you are riding, you feel more confidence than Maxis.
Yeah, and you were on eddy currents before on your old bike. So what are you feeling the difference? So at the moment we've got Magic Mary front, Big Betty back. Before you had eddy current front and back. What are you feeling the difference there?
Well, eddy currents were like rocks. They last a lot, and they are not bad tires. But with these ones, I feel more, they roll better. I feel a little bit more confident on the corners, and they adapt very well to every surface, wet, dry. So different wheels, but also really good tires.
Nice. And now the brakes, the Seguras. Why did you go that?
Well, as I said before, I wanted to try something different. I want to, because I own it, XT, Hope, Codes, and I would like to try these ones, this configuration, Magura. I got Magura on my SL. I discovered they are really, really good brakes, but I wanted to try something different, and I think that the configuration between Saint and Maguras are probably the best. I like also the feeling, in my opinion, the on-off feeling is the way I want to brake, and for sure the power of those calipers are huge, so for me are now the best configuration.
And a little bit of extra information for you riders out there, MT7s and MT5s, actually all Magura brakes use mineral oil. Well, they have the blue blood or whatever it's called, the Magura, And then, so it is compatible. Like Shimano don't want you to do that. Magura don't want you to do that, but definitely this is something I've been thinking about because I love the MT7s, but the MT7 levers, I broke 2 in 6 months. They're the type of levers, if you go over the handlebars, you break them. Where Shimano, I don't think I've ever broken a Shimano lever. And one point, he is a patriotic guy. He's gone Galfa, brake pads and rotors. So tell me why.
Well, actually, they brake very well. The performance is really good. They are not expensive, and also the lasting. Maybe you can ride 1,000 kilometers with these pads, especially designed for e-bikes, and you can have the 100% of the performance until the last moment.
Okay, perfect. Now, we've talked about everything. What was the cost? We won't show your wife. How much did this cost?
I don't really know. I think it would be something around 9,000.
9,500, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But for me, the what I receive for that money is much more than if I would buy an S-Works.
I think this, for under 10,000 euros, or what Haman's paid because he went secondhand, I think this is the best value lever on the market. This is exactly how I would build it. I'm not sure about the Shigura. I definitely want to test that. But Haman, are you happy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah? Are you going to do any more upgrades?
Not at the moment. Maybe the shock, the rear shock, in order to try the spring, but not really sure. At the moment, this is the bike I want to have.
You're obviously a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy. We both ride really good e-bikes. Your last 2 e-bikes, you had them at the same time, was the Gen 2 Levo and the Levo SL S-Works. You sold both to get this. Tell me how you're finding that experience. What's the difference between the Levo SL and the new Gen 3 and the difference between the Levo Gen 2 and Gen 3?
Well, comparing with the Gen 2, the geometry is different. This is more enduro, but at the same time, I feel it lighter. I mean, you can move it lighter. I don't know if it's because the mallet system, I don't know why, but the geometry is good, very good for me. If you compare with the SL was a really good bike. I love it. Obviously, the power of the motor, the support that gives you is much more higher in this one. But for me, it's like a middle point between the SL and the Kinevo or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. For me, the support on the downhills is much higher than the SL on the Gen 2.
And now the million-dollar question. The e-bike market is moving drastically. We've just had a new bike released pretty much every week or every 3 weeks. So you've had the bike for a month. If you were given your 9,500 euros right now today, would you buy this again?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah?
For sure. In general terms, for me, it's the best bike. Maybe it's not the first one in specific points, but it's the overall best bike for me, in my opinion, that I can buy. Honestly, I was thinking a lot what to buy, and no other bike on the market can satisfy me as this one does.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
You're
man.
welcome.
And riders, if you have any questions for Haman or me, put them in the show notes. We'll definitely get back to you. And now we're going to go off for a ride. It's freezing here, and you've been a great sport. I'll definitely buy you a few beers. Let's go. See you next week, riders.